Today on From the Vault, Rikki Roxx celebrates Halloween by bringing you the From the Vault review of the NECA Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Freddy Krueger. Welcome to prime time, bitch! Welcome back, welcome back. Yes, it is that time of year again, my friends. It is Halloween. It is literally Halloween. And in celebration of that, we are going to be taking a look at a very, very, very awesome figure today. Now, this is actually a do-over from last year, because we tried to do this with the same figure, and our crackhead production staff had a problem with the lighting, and all the footage was unusable, so we spent 2 hours for fucking nothing, and I didn't have a Halloween video last year, so thank you very much for that. And you know what, but it's water under the bridge, and we're going to do it over again today. But so yeah, you'll notice, like, as we look, some of the packaging's a little cracked open in spots, because I literally did this whole fucking thing a year ago. This is my nightmare. This is my fucking nightmare.
Hang on, are you nuts?
Alright, you gotta forgive me, people. As of now, I have been up for about 28 hours, and I'm around 2 cups of coffee and a couple of them funny cigarettes. So you know what we're gonna do is we're just gonna wing it today. I don't even remember what the fuck I said last year. We're just gonna wing it. First thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna have to get rid of this, because this is going to be very fucking dangerous if we keep this up the whole episode. So we're just going to take that, and we're just going to find a nice safe spot over there. Okay. We're gonna pay whoever. Yeah, we're gonna get Dapper. Dapper will fix it. Dapper fixes everything. Dapper will fix it. Okay, so we're gonna go back.
This is our block. Now you gonna get down or you gonna lay down? And if they be like, I don't know, let me think about it. We pull out the Roscoe and we be like, block out. And they be like, oh, you shot me. And we be like, take that, faggots.
Okay, so now we're gonna actually do this for real this time, okay? No more fucking around, alright? Maybe a little fucking around, because that's kind of what we do. But not a lot of fucking around. So this figure is fucking awesome. Now, I might have mentioned this a couple times to you guys, but when it comes to horror, I'm not like a genre guy with movies. I'm not one of those people who says, I'm a big horror guy. I love horror movies, you know, but I love all kinds of movies. I'm just not one of those people who's like neck deep in the genre, for example. But some of my favorite movies are horror movies. There's no getting around it. And for me, the creme de la creme has always been the Nightmare on Elm Street series, way above all the other ones, the Friday the 13th and the Halloweens and all that stuff, for a lot of reasons. But I legitimately think they are better made films, first of all. No exaggeration. I just think that the Nightmare movies, with the exception of Freddy's Dead, which was, you know, a real piece of shit, but you know, most of the movies are even the worst of them, you know, the lesser ones are still of a more consistently higher quality, I truly believe this, than the entire Friday the 13th series, the entire Halloween series, all of them. Like, I just think they're better films, objectively. You know, like, not for nothing, you know, not to go on a whole big fucking rant here, but, you know, the Jason movies and whatever, yeah, they're fun to watch, a marathon or whatever, but, you know, he's barely got a personality, and those movies are fucking crap. Let's just be honest, they're shit. They're not good movies. They're fun, but they're bad. They're schlock, you know, like Trauma or whatever else, you know, Trauma Pictures, whatever. Not that bad, but you get what I'm saying. So I've always been a huge fan, ever since I was a very little kid, way too young to have watched these movies, but thank God for late night cable in the 80s, am I right, kids? If you were there, you know. If you weren't there, fuck you. I don't listen to anybody younger than like fucking 30. Because you weren't there, so you don't know. But, so yeah, Freddy Krueger's always been my guy. first one I got to see in theaters was actually Freddy's Dead, unfortunately, because that was not good. I was like 10, so I thought it was good, but it wasn't good. But first one is inarguably the best. But you know, I love the whole series. Frankly, I even love 2, which some people don't. But you know, to me, it's not bad. It's just different. You got to remember, they didn't have the lore all set in stone yet for Freddy and how the whole thing works. So they were winging it, you know. But strong contender for best in the series after the original has to be Dream Warriors. I mean, yeah, how much can be said? Dream Warriors, the real sequel to Nightmare on Elm Street, most people say. Can't really argue with that. If you did skip from 1, ignore 2, go right into 3, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't miss anything other than a little early installment weirdness. You know, you do have the Wes Craven influence comes back, and the series really felt his absence. You know, the best movies in the entire Nightmare series have to be the first, the third, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Those 3 are great fucking horror movies. And the rest are decent to okay to horror movies. Let's just be honest, right? But the 3 that Wes Craven was involved in any capacity are far superior to the rest. And many people make the case that this one is the best in the series. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that. The special effects were there to really show off Freddy Krueger, and not just Freddy, but, you know, some cool, gruesome shit, like, you know, the fucking souls coming out of his chest. I mean, like, it's a movie where if it's on, I'm definitely gonna watch it. No questions asked. I don't know if it's the one I've probably seen the first one the most. But I've definitely seen the first 3 more than any in the series. So as a kid, though, it was very controversial that they were merchandising the Freddy Krueger character. They did merchandise the character, however, it was not to the extent that it is nowadays. Because it was very controversial. Kids were not supposed to be watching Freddy Krueger movies back in the 80s. We were, of course. And we weren't even hiding it. And they were doing things like Halloween costumes for kids, which was very, very controversial. The trading cards, I had a sticker book, which I used to hide on like the bottom of my bookshelf. I'd look at it and then I'd hide it under all the other books on my bookshelf just to kind of like keep the evil locked up, you know, because I was like 6. But yeah, that covered the first 3 movies, so that was really cool. I still have it, it's somewhere in a box. But yeah, that's a cool piece of memorabilia. But what you couldn't really get back then was action figures. They did do like the talking doll, they did stuff like that, but it took a long time for companies like NECA, I think I'm saying it right, but yeah, it took a long time for companies like NECA to come out with their Nightmare on Elm Street line. And I'm so glad they did. I picked this figure up at Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, Englishtown Flea Market, the Blue Building. They have so much cool stuff. I've talked about them 100 times, and I'll talk about them forever because they're the best. I was there today picking up some stuff. They're the best. And not just wrestling, but they have DC, Marvel, horror, He-Man. Oh, no, they don't have He-Man because I'm buying that shit. Don't ask them for He-Man shit. I already got dibs. But everything else you could want, they got it there. And they got comic books, they got magazines, they got board games, they got statues, they got video games, they got video game consoles, they got CDs, they got DVDs. I mean, I don't know if you can buy body parts, but they might have them in the back. I seen them selling guitars, I seen them selling swords. Dude, Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore. You cannot fucking write this kind of enthusiasm or script it. This is real. This is real shit. And that's where I got this motherfucker. Came right from them. I got a hell of a deal on it. And I'm glad I did, because unfortunately, from last year to now, this baby has skyrocketed in price. This thing goes for about $80 now. I didn't pay that. I didn't pay half that a year and a half ago. So it's pretty incredible. Really excited about it. So this figure originally came out, I don't know, I used to know. I'm bad. I looked it up last year, but I'm lazy this year, so I forgot to look it up. But yeah, this came out a while ago. There have been so many Freddy Krueger action figures made by NECA. You really can't go wrong. I mean, what they've done so great is they've captured all the little details and nuances from all the versions of Freddy. You have the one from the first movie where, you know, he didn't have the stripes on the sleeves and, you know, the look was a little rougher. You got that one. You have several different versions from this movie, like, you know, and all the other ones. You got the, like, the tuxedo one. They've done some more bare bones figures with less accessories. They've done deluxe figures with more accessories. The horror stuff from NECA is really, really great, and I definitely recommend that you check them out, look them up online. They really have made so many different figures of Freddy and Jason and Mike Myers and you know, all those characters that they're pretty easy to find. For some of them are more than others. I was not expecting this thing to have hit $80 in recent times. That kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm glad I got it when I did. I think I paid around $30, honestly, about a year and a half ago. But yeah, so it's a great figure, great packaging. On the front, you get this really awesome piece of artwork there to you know, show off the gimmick. The whole thing with this figure is like you're really getting two figures in one. Because when the shirt's down, you got a nice basic looking, iconic looking Freddy Krueger, but then he's got the chest piece to recreate that scene near the end of the movie where, you know, he's showing off all the friggin' tortured souls that he's taken into himself. Like, that's another thing about the fucking Nightmare on Elm Street series, man, is the special effects and the scenes they would hit you with. Like, this is stuff that would stick with you for years, right? Like, you remember when he grabs the chick and he fucking drags her into the TV head first and the thing blows up? Or you remember when he's you know, he's fighting the girl and she's got the mohawk and the switchblades and all that shit, like, and then he friggin' does the deal with the syringes? Like, who could forget that? Or the worm, the fucking Freddy worm. Like, what the shit? These are the things, when you saw them as a 5-year-old kid, this is the stuff that stayed with you all night. Or the one that fucks with me the most, because I got a thing with veins and shit. Like the one where he's friggin' working the dude like a puppet, you know, with this friggin' tendons and veins and shit ripped out, and then he fucking does the deal. Whew. Man, like, these fucking movies are awesome, dude. So that's one of the things that put Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street over to me huge back then, was that the effects, especially in the age of practical, none of this CGI bullshit, like, they created these things that were so much more memorable to a 5, 6, 7-year-old than, like, okay, like, so Jason stabs him through the neck with the arrow, that's cool. Or, like, he does the thing with the mache, hacks him in the, okay, it's cute. But, like, you know, and then boo, you know, it's like, what the fuck? How can you even compare? I don't know, man. I'm not trying to put other shit down. I'm just saying, like, you're barely even playing the same sport. But, like, to me as a kid, Nightmare on Elm Street was next level because of things like that. You know, so yeah, 3, that was another thing, is that it had some of the best effects, some of the best kills. And, you know, this artwork on the cover here really illustrates that iconic scene beautifully. I love all the detail of it. I wish I was that good. Down the back here, you know, you get the little wall of text giving you the Iggy on what's going down here. You can see the plastic's all cracked because I opened it last year. But the good news is it took me forever, and I don't have to take forever again this year. But so yeah, we are going to open it up. We're going to talk about it a little bit. We're going to talk about the ups and the downs and what's cool and what's rad and what's hip and all of that good stuff, baby. But, you know, in case you couldn't figure it out already, I'm really excited about this figure. And it's definitely, it was fun to do the deal last year, so we'll do it again. Why not? Why not? Second time's a charm, right? It's always better the second time. We're going to be back in a second, and we're going to do it. Alright, so here it is. the Dream Warriors Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Freddy Krueger. Now, with this particular version, like I said, there have been several in different packaging. You get Freddy Krueger in his slasher pose. He's got the cloth goods sweater, which I love. They made it frayed in areas. Like, it's frayed at all the ends there. That's a really cool little detail, you know, because his sweater was a little ratty. I mean, like, they could have smudged maybe some fake dirt on there if they felt like it, but I mean, you know, it's no big deal. They did do that with the pants, though. They dirtied up the pants a little bit, which is a nice touch. If you look close, you can see there's a little bit of scuffling and wear on the pants. So not a bad job on the detail work at all. I think that's pretty cool. And the boots are nice and weathered. I like that. Like, look at that shit, man. They got some good weathering on the boots there. Like, that's... See, the detail that they put into certain areas of this figure make up for places where they don't have a lot of detail, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, it's the little things like that that really help put it over. The likeness of the face and the detail on the burns, the scars, the grooves. It's a really well sculpted figure. Like, sculpting is where NECA excels typically. Like, they really do a great job with their sculpting. Whether it's sculpting a likeness or sculpting detail. Like, they do a fantastic job with that. And they really make it look very true to life. I mean, there's no mistaking who that is. You know, the face is great. The glove is great. The hand is posed, and you only get one hand with this figure. Some of them, I think, come with like swappable ones, and sometimes he's doing different poses, but this is a pretty good pose. You can't articulate the fingers at all, but the wrist moves, so you can, you know, tinker with it a little bit. The blades are soft, so you can kind of spread them a little bit if they start touching too close, but yeah, can't move the hands around. But I mean, the detailing on the glove, the weathering, the scuff marks on the blades, the scuff marks on the blades of the claw, like, that is good shit. I didn't talk about that last time, I don't think. But yeah, it's impressing me a lot more now. Like, that is a really great recreation of the glove, for sure. And, yeah, it's just a really well sculpted figure. The likeness, the details, everything about it. And of course you gotta have the hat. The hat as well. The weathering and the sculpted detail make it look really beat up. I like that. I dig that the most. I think that's really cool. Yeah, it's got like the dents. It's got like dents taken out of it and shit. That's cool, man. That's cool. Like it looks like it's been banged around as much as he has. So then you complete the look, you know, it goes right on his head like that. And then it's fucking perfect, right? You know, you can sit it on his head different ways because it's kind of loose. It's you know, it'll come off easy, but it'll sit easy too. The articulation. Let's talk about that a little bit. So it is one of the earlier run NECA figures, so you don't get a ton here, and what you do get is like standard for what you expect from them. The head technically moves, but it's not going to stay in any position you twist it to, really, so it kind of just snaps right back. So that is what that is, but I mean, you know, he's rarely looking off to the side or whatever. He's usually looking at whoever he's going to kill. You do get some waist articulation, you know. It's like a doll. It's like it's kind of like, you know, it's more of a doll than an action figure. It's got doll articulation. Let's just be honest, what it is. The shoulders, you know, you get some good posability at the shoulders, kind of, but it's more up and down. You don't get a lot of rotation. You get some, but you know, the sweater being what it is too, you know, that limits it somewhat. But you get the hinge elbows. The right arm shoulder and left arm shoulder, left is real loose, right is real snug, so it's like, and the right doesn't really so much go up and down as it just kind of like does a rotator cuff motion, whereas the left arm goes up and down. So yeah, the arms themselves have a little bit of a different articulation. Yeah, the left arm feels like it gets looser the more you play with it. I don't know if that's standard on all of these figures, because again, you know, NECA was very inconsistent with the quality of these. Yeah, like the elbow is really, the shoulder is loose, the elbow is tight, the shoulder is tight, the elbow is loose. So yeah, you're getting it all over the place with this guy. But I mean, let's be honest, you don't really buy NECA figures for the posability, right? They're not built for that. It's to have something to look cool that you can do some posability and maneuverability with. So, you know, it is what it is. You know what you're getting with these. If you're like me, you're never going to move them anyway. The wrists do the swivel gimmick like that. Legs, you get some, but again, it's easier. You get more side to side than front to back. They don't move individually too well. No, they got to move as a pair, which is interesting if you're going up and down. But side to side, they can move individually. The ankles, you get the swivel, and again, like most of the joints, they get looser the more you play with them. But a lot of these people who would display this guy out of the box, they would get a stand for him anyway, which I do recommend with pretty much any NECA figure, because you can get him to stand, but he won't really want to stay. That's the only thing. He won't really want to stay, but what can you do? But if you get a stand, I got a set of stands, like little black wire stands for figures like these. I got on eBay for like 30 of them for $15 or something. I don't know. It was like crazy stupid. It would be perfect for a dude like this. So, you know, and a lot of people keep these guys in the package anyway. I don't recommend that. I take everything out at some point. But I do like that you could put him back in the clamshell for this. But yeah, so it's a great looking figure. Articulation is, you know, iffy like with any NECA figure, especially from this era. But the gimmick is what really puts it over here, and that is the Tortured Souls chest. Not a chest full of tortured souls, but Freddy's actual chest full of tortured souls. So this slips on under the shirt, and it's a good thing too, because he could use a little bit of help. Because one of the things I love about this figure is that for as great as the sculpting is on the hands and the face and how much work went into all of that, and especially this thing. I mean, look at this fucking thing. How long do you think that took? How long do you think that took to figure out to get to look like that? That's pretty neat, man. They even, for no real reason, they even scuffed up the back of it a little bit. I mean, it's cool. I don't know if that's just like a thing in the manufacturing process or whatever, but I think it looks neat. It's got some of the weathered coloring and shit like that. Yeah, it's got all the little faces. It's got all the little ripped up skin tissue, all burnt to shit and stretched out. Like, I don't know how you do better than that, man. That is cool. So yeah, but as cool as all that detail is, underneath, you're never going to want to take this guy's gear off, because, I mean, what's cool about it is Freddy's definitely been hitting the gym. Like, this dude has been working out with Tony Little, hitting the ab isolator. You can do it! He did it. Because look at that shit, man. He is jacked to shit. I don't know what possessed them to use this specific body for this action figure, but they did, and I love it. It's like that all over. The arms and legs are also, like, if you can get, yeah, like if you can get a look, it's a regular action figure underneath. But it's fine, man. It's fucking fine. It don't matter to Jesus. So, yeah. So that's why if you ever, you know, display him without the shirt or with the shirt exposing his torso, you're gonna want to put this on. It goes on real easy. I don't know how quick it is. If it starts giving me the business, we'll just cut. But yeah, you just slip it on under the shirt. It's like a little bit of a softer plastic, so it's not gonna snap. I love that they did that. It clips on, but it doesn't snap on. It just sort of hugs the torso gently. Yes. And you just make a couple adjustments to the shirt and pants. Pants also have Velcro on the back to make this easier. So you can just unseal and reseal. They thought of, they did the work on this figure. They really put some thought into making it properly functional. So I really appreciate them for that. So yeah, if you were going to display him out of the box, there's no reason to ever take that thing off of him because it looks great. Like, it doesn't disrupt anything when it's underneath like that. You can't even tell it's on there, so it still looks like a pretty standard, just, I'm coming to get you. And then, you know, just roll this up a little bit here. Rolling with the homies. You just roll that up a little bit like that. And happy fucking Halloween! You know, like, that's pretty cool, just like the movie, right? Like, we're not gonna go, oh fuck, it's the fucking shit with his wrists. I hate that shit. Fuck you. Why did I turn around right then? I'm telling you why. Because this fucking guy haunts my nightmares too. I'm not gonna lie. He's been in my fucking dreams since I was 4 fucking years old, this guy. And it's because of shit like this. We're not gonna get to see that fucking part. We're not gonna get to see that part. But yeah, so that's pretty much what it looked like in the movie too. I mean, you know, and then when he died, or when they killed him, all the souls were set free. Nightmare 3 is a good fucking movie, man. It's just a good movie, not even just like a horror movie. It's a good movie. Like, you would watch it. Like, it's just good. I don't know. It's a good series. But yeah, like, look how cool that looks, man. Look how fucking cool that looks. Like, yes, articulation and whatever, you know, could always be better with this kind of a figure, but you don't get this kind of a figure for that. You get this kind of a figure because it looks perfect on your shelf. And if you have, I don't, but if you have, like, Jason and Michael Myers and all that shit, like, you could have a nice little, Hall of Horror going, looking really fucking badass. Like, one day I will. I haven't got around to it. This was the first Freddy Krueger action figure I ever got based on an actual movie. I'm very pleased with it. Very happy with it. Because again, I got it to look good on the shelf. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to sit there looking badass. And that's, you know, that's all I need him to do. I'll probably put a stand. Like I said, a little, you know, $5 black wire stand that you barely even see. Look great, you know. But he'd look great in like a playset or a diorama. You know, whatever your display with these guys. So yeah, really impressed with it. Really impressed with it. I would give it like a 9 out of 10 just because the articulation could be a lot better. But again, it's you expect that with this brand of figure. You know what you're getting into with these. If you've bought one, you know, generally. And I'm not saying that to be mean, I'm just saying it's a fact with this brand. But that doesn't mean they're not awesome. That doesn't mean they can't be a lot of fun to mess with and put on your shelf, tinker with, you know. Like, the other Freddy Krueger figure I got, which we will talk about, is, I got like the, I want to say Funko. Yeah, Funko. They did the whole Savage World thing. With they did, you know, like the Masters of the Universe looking versions of like Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees and blah blah blah. So yeah, that was actually the first Freddy Krueger figure I ever bought, because that came out was like fucking like $9. And I had $9. This I actually had to like make it a point to get because it was like $30 or some shit. So. Yeah. But yeah, I forgot to mention, his knees bend a little bit. Yeah, they do bend, but, you know. Again, you're not going to do a whole lot with the bending of the knees or the elbows or any of that, you know. You're gonna do a few basic stock poses. But you can get a lot out of a little just because they have strategically placed the articulation to kind of maximize some of the dynamicness of the poses. Dynamicness. I want to say that's a word. It's a word Bill and Ted would use, so yeah, I'm gonna say it's fine. But yeah, like, you know, you could do some fucking damage with this guy, and that's always cool. That's what you want to do. I mean, this is a pretty kick-ass fucking figure, you know, like. If I was a kid, right? If I was a kid, what I would have done is I would have gotten this figure. My dad would have got it for me, and I'd go up to Mom and be like, hey, Mom, and she's like, oh, have a good night, it's Freddy Krueger, and I'd be like, ah, she's like, oh my God, what the fuck are you doing, what the fuck, you know, that's what being a little kid is about, is like fucking trying to scare your mom. Yeah, but so yeah, if you can find this guy for a reasonable price, I definitely recommend picking him up. It's a great addition to your Freddy Krueger or horror collection. Like I said, unfortunately, I was looking around on some of the usual places, and I seen this guy go for about $80. I'm glad I only paid less than half of that, but at the same time, I mean, it might be worth it to you. If you can't find the specific Freddy Krueger figure for a reasonable price, though, don't worry about it, because they've had this almost exact figure come out in different packaging with, like, more gimmicks. They've had a lot of Freddy Krueger figures come out, so I wouldn't really sweat it. This is a great one because of the bonus gimmick. Woo! Like, that really seals the deal and makes it a top-notch figure, definitely. But at the same time, like, there are other good ones out there. If you can't get this one, don't beat yourself up. I would definitely try to get it. Definitely try to get it if you can. I don't know if you'd want to pay $80 for it. I maybe would say like 40 or 50. But I don't know. Maybe it's worth $80 to you. Like I said, I'm just, hey, Lawrence fucking Fishburne. That's my guy. No, that's not Lawrence Fishburne. That's Lawrence Fishburne. That's fucking Perry White. Oh man. So yeah, Apocalypse Now. Ooh man, that's so weird because Marlon Brando was in Apocalypse Now, and he played Superman's dad. And Lawrence Fishburne was in Apocalypse Now, and he played Superman's boss. We gotta get Martin Sheen in a Superman movie. What the fuck am I talking about? Anyway. See, but this is the thing. Like I said, I've been up for almost 30 hours. And this motherfucking guy right here is a big part of the reason, because it's Halloween. It's Devil's Night. It's Devil's Night. Tomorrow's Halloween. And that's when this guy comes for you. So I've been trying to stay one step ahead of him. It's not gonna fucking work, because it never fucking works! Anyway. That about says all that can be said about this particular Freddy Krueger action figure. It's a lot of fun. I wouldn't be alone with it the night before Halloween. I think it's a bad idea. I probably shouldn't have taken this out of fucking package at all. But you know, you only live once, or whatever fucking kids say. So, I'm gonna drink another thermos or two of coffee. I might watch this movie a couple more times. We'll see what happens with that. But I'm probably not going to be going to sleep. Not until November 1st. And if you think that's an extreme position, you don't fucking know this guy! Happy fucking Halloween.